Bend is famous for its whitewater rafting, skiing. Really, it's an extreme sport town. Also, we'll show you in just a little bit of the downtown area, which is kind of historic and tons of shopping. But look at how quaint this town is. Come on and take a look at the river. Isn't this peaceful? Now if you take a look up and down the river, you'll see the mountains up above and the peaceful serenity down below. Enjoy.
Come here, Snoop. Come here, Snoopy.
The lens kept it.
Hey, come here, Snoopy. Come on. Come on, Snoopy. Come on. Come on, good boy. Come.
Green Tavern.
Where's my dog? You stay back. Stay with me.
Recalculating.
Here. No, here.
Drive 400 feet, then turn left.
Those are all clear.
I think the people that had it before let us sit on their lap.
Okay.
Described as having small, wiry, trim bodies with eyes that looked like wraparound goggles, who communicated telepathically in English with the humans who found them. One was shot, apparently, by a law enforcement officer from Roswell, but the other lived for a time. Several sources reported that soon after the Roswell crash in 1947, President Truman issued an executive order more than supposedly included Central Intelligence Director Admiral Roscoe Hillenkotter, Secretary of Defense James Forrestal, Lieutenant General Nathan Twining of the AAF and then USAF, Air Materiel Command, Professor Donald Menzel, Harvard astronomer and naval intelligence cryptography expert Vannevar Bush, Joint Research and Development Board Chairman Detlef Bronk, Chairman of the National Research Council and biologist who would ultimately be named to the Advisory Council Committee on Aeronautics. General Robert Montague, who was General Twining's classmate at West Point, Commandant of Fort Bliss with operational control over the command at White Sands, Gordon Gray, President Truman's Secretary of the Army and Chairman of the CIA's Psychological Strategy Board, Sidney Sowers, Director of the National Security Council, General Hoyt Vandenberg, Central Intelligence Group Director prior to Roscoe Hillenkotter, and the USAF Chief of Staff in 1948, Jerome Hunsaker, Aircraft Engineer and Director of the National Advisory Committee on Aeronautics, Lloyd Berkner, member of the Joint Research and Development Board. Well, this was Majestic 12, and later at the Eisenhower White House, it was simply referred to.
You are really good.
Yeah.
You are fabulous.
I even passed. Wow.
Yeah.
That was something. This is a totally different type of forest here, too.
Yeah. There's well, you know how like on the planet, the farther away from the equator you get different kinds of plants growing because of the heat and cold, the range of hot and cold. So up in the Arctic, you only get little tiny plants and mossy kind of things and no trees really at all.
Yeah.
And then as you get farther south, there are really, really hardy pine trees, and farther south and farther south. And you have to get down about the level of Minneapolis before you get things like oak trees, hardwoods.
Yeah.
Well, it works the same sort of way.
Altitude.
With altitude, yeah. The higher you go in altitude, the colder it gets, the thinner the air gets. And then the vegetation shifts and shifts. And there is a point where trees can't grow at all. What they call the tree line. And I don't know, you might have noticed yesterday that when we were on top of Mount Hood, we were above the tree line.
Oh, there was... No.
Or at the tree line.
Oh, because there was tons of huge pines right there.
Just a few more steps up, by the time you get up to the ski lifts, you are actually above the tree line.
Which is where a lot of times they have the skiing. Dan, thank you so much. We're going down now. Oh, look at how pretty this is, though. Lord.
You're gonna music over this, right?
Yeah.
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 You know, listening to this is very interesting for me because all of the stories that I've ever heard about the aliens were all about how they were evil, 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 and they just wanted to abduct us, and they wanted to control us, and they wanted... And her slant on it is giving me a much...
Broader.
Well, yeah, and more delicate sensibility about, you know, they may really just be concerned that we're setting off atom bombs. We're about to blow up the planet. We're about to annihilate one another, which would affect everyone on some level.
Right.
I don't mean everyone on this planet.
Everyone.
It would affect the universe
in the cosmos
on some level.
Sure.
If we have so little regard for other forms of life and each other that we would self-destruct.
Yeah.
interesting that they, according to this, they came to us with the deal of, we'll give you all this technology, just don't set off that bomb and stop using bombs.
Right.
And we wouldn't agree to that.
Yeah.
And then they came back with another proposal, which was, it sounded like largely influenced by the little Greys, who really kind of maybe are the bad guys, where they said, okay, here's a new deal. Let us abduct anyone we want, and we'll help you maintain the secrecy of this.
Yeah.
Which is like, whoa, that's a much worse deal.
Yeah, sure.
It is. Well, it's because we're unwilling. The military machine is unwilling to let go of the money and the power, and they make money and power.
Yeah.
When they have the, oh, look at that mountain.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Oh. This is way prettier, but maybe it was pretty on the other one too, and you can see.
You see a lot more peaks on this pass, which was part of why I suggested that we return this way.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, on the other pass you only see Mount Hood, but I thought you might really enjoy going into the lodge and having cocoa, which didn't quite work out. But then the weather was so crappy that it was like, okay, well, it's horribly cold and
this is so gorgeous.
You can't see anything anyway. But yeah, I'm very glad that we got a day like this.
Well, I couldn't see anything because the ice was slamming in my eyes.
Yeah.
I didn't see it across the parking lot.
No.
You couldn't even see Mount Hood when you were standing right on it.
This is so just stunning.
Yeah, it's spectacular.
It is. Thanks for filming, Daniel Paul. Oh, you're going to hear a lot more about the Greys, kiddo. And you're going to be fascinated. You're going to hear a lot more about the Palladians, too. Or what is it?
Pleiadians.
Pleiadians.
The Nordics.
Yeah.
Which, according to a lot of the stuff that I've read over the years, talks about how there was a race that came and did genetic experiments on the most advanced apes living on this planet, and mixed their genetic material with the ape genetic material, and got
just kidding.
Basically Nordics, Celtics, tall, blue-eyed, blonde types with a different body structure than what the apes that eventually evolved into Neanderthal. So,
so us, basically.
Well, but our genetic material has been mixed, so so the more Nordic races have a higher content of DNA from this experiment, and the more southern races have, darker, shorter, have more DNA from Neanderthal. And that Cleopatra and her, no, not Cleopatra, but the older ones, Nefertiti and Ra and the really old Egyptian kings were actually from another planet. And when you look at the pictures of them, and the sculptures of them, and the drawings of them, they wear these like head coverings.
Head coverings, sure.
But their heads were actually shaped really differently from ours, and they were much taller than us. They were like 9 to 11 feet tall.
These ancient Egyptians?
Yeah. And there's a...
Hey, can you grab Pip back? Because I want to put my water down.
Hey, Pip. Hey, Pip.
Yeah.
And there's a skull that I've seen photographs of in the British Museum in London of one of these ancient Egyptians, and the skull has that enormous shape that slants backwards. The skull.
For real?
Yeah, for real.
And I had heard that they had, like, from babies, had wrapped their heads to do that.
Which was, according to what I've heard, people trying to replicate that skull shape because those were the leaders. Yeah. In hopes that it would, give them the powers that the leaders had, or in supplication.
By the way, you're going to hear all about a lot of this.
Oh, really?
Yes. This is the book for you right now. It is cool. And there's a lot about the Bible and aliens and...
Yeah, they...
oh, yeah, Yahweh being
Yeah.
an alien.
Exactly.
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I
comment
think
that...
Yahweh was a bastard, whatever Yahweh was. Yahweh was not the
Right.
universal energy.
No. It was an alien just having power issues.
Right, yeah. Why don't you kill your oldest for me?
Yeah.
See how I like that?
Prove your loyalty.
Yeah, prove your love.
You know the Kill Your Son? It was all about proving your loyalty
Yep.
to this alien.
Yep. Yes, that one I've heard. Well, not that particular thing, but Yahweh in general being not exactly God.
And the flood happening from like we're sick of these genetic experiments we've made.
Oh.
Let's kill it off.
Oh. Okay.
And then the brother of this had more compassion and tried to save people. Like, no, don't do this.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I have heard something similar to that. And that it happened around the time of Atlantis and what's the other one? Lemuria?
I don't know that one.
Which was another advanced civilization like Atlantis. Around the same time.
In 0.5 miles, keep left.
Oh, it's just so pretty.
It is. It's how neat that we got a sunny day to see this.
Keep left.
Left turn, yield to oncoming traffic.
Okay.
Yield.
Yeah. No one's behind you anyway.
Okay.
Drive 3.3 miles, then turn left.
My God, it's like a
Pip would
highway
like a
system up here.
Winnebago.
What?
I think Pip would like a Winnebago.
Oh, she would love it.
Run around, right? Yeah.
We could play catch in the Winnebago.
God, that does sound like fun.
Yeah.
Should we go back to listening?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wait just a minute.
And you can be done filming if you want, or you've done more than enough. Whatever you want.
In 26, 1999, there were 2 days of sightings which the people felt were welcoming their papa. Each Mexican Independence Day celebration of September 16th, 91, 92, and 93 were accompanied by UFOs flying under their airplanes. They seemed to be crying out for public acknowledgement. None of these events was printed or reported in the U.S. There were videos of people filming from the tops of their cars out of windows on city streets everywhere. One journalist called Lee for contacts relating to a UFO story. Lee said he'd set him up with some authentic sources as long as the story was told seriously. As the next step in my research and investigation, I called my friend Dr. John Mack of the Department of Psychiatry at Harvard, and I asked him to fill me in on the research that he'd been doing on what he called experiencers, people who had been taken aboard crafts and needed psychiatric counseling as a result. Apparently, over 3.5 million Americans have had that kind of contact with star visitors. The numbers are much higher worldwide. John listened to many people who had come to him and finally decided that these were experiences which to the experiencers were real. Mac found that UFO abduction cases caused real controversy. Critics claimed that his work was an example of a kind of cult of irrationality and an exercise in anti-science and unreason. But he had a growing conviction in the authenticity of the experiencers. Mac told me, quote, "The information that I obtained during the years of this investigation has been communicated in case after case with such power and consistency that a body of data formed which seems to point clearly to the experiential truth of the contact phenomenon, whatever its ultimate source might prove to be." He went on to say that what the experiencers were describing cannot be explained according to our traditional scientific view. It would seem to be more sensible and indeed more rational to change our scientific perspective and expand our notions of reality. He said the contact abduction phenomenon forces us to take it seriously and examine our perception of ourselves and human identity. In other words, to look at ourselves from a cosmic perspective. Mac had the view that contact or abductions by star beings isn't so much about the events as it is about how we need to expand our sense of ourselves, and more importantly, our understanding of reality. He felt we should awaken our restricted potential as human explorers in this universe and see that it is rich in meaning and intelligence. As I questioned him, he said none of those who had been taken aboard craft seemed psychologically disturbed, except in the secondary sense caused by the experience itself. He said there was little to suggest that their stories were delusional, fantasy, or dreams. He said the intensity of energy and emotions as the people relived their experiences were unlike anything he had ever encountered in his other clinical work. And the immediacy of his own presence, his support, and the understanding required had influenced the way he regarded the psychotherapeutic treatment in general. He said he had come to see that experiences aboard spacecraft had important philosophical, spiritual, and social implications, and his work had led him to challenge the prevailing worldview of consensus reality, which he had grown up believing and had always applied to his clinical and scientific endeavors. He went on to say that there are other phenomena that have led to the challenging of the prevailing materialistic, dualistic worldview of reality. These include near-death experiences, meditation practices, the use of psychedelic substances, shamanic journeys, ecstatic dancing, religious rituals, out-of-body experiences, and any other practice that may open us to what we in the West call non-ordinary states of consciousness.
And anything else that gets you out of your left brain.
Yes.
We do not have a real acquaintance with the world of consciousness in and around ourselves. The power of the consciousness, of course, is immense, and John Mack felt it was time for further exploration. Most of the abductees and contactees that Mack treated were usually more open and intuitive individuals in their own lives than other, quote, normal people. They were less tolerant of societal authoritarianism and more flexible in accepting diversity and the unusual experiences of other people. I found John's definition of the Western scientific paradigm most important. Quote, "We have a rigid theology," unquote, he said, and that belief system is held in place by the structures, categories, and polarities of language, such as real, unreal, exists, doesn't exist, objective, subjective, intrapsychic, external, and happened, did not happen.
That's all left brain
He said
stuff.
he tried to put aside all the language forms and simply collect raw experiential information, dispensing with any already conceived of worldview that he might have. He said he regarded his experiencers as co-investigators, and most of them found it quite easy to go into non-ordinary states of consciousness. I don't know the difference between what Billy my ear experienced and what John Mack's patients experienced, except for one thing. Billy always drove toward the craft and was then taken up. He wasn't abducted, seemingly against his will, though many of the experiencers went willingly too. Many of them remembered encounters since childhood. Some star beings were their playmates or little people, healers and teachers. However, when these children reached puberty, a fear set in, particularly when their parents told them that they were only dreaming and the beings weren't real. Max said abductee and contactee experiencers run in families, sometimes over 3 generations or more. The abductees complain of the switching off of memory and consciousness, and of a feeling of being floated through walls, doorways, and windows. Many of them have a feeling of inexplicable love, as though they had gone home. They also experience great cycles of birth and death, and relive powerful past life experiences. The crafts vary in size. They are described as silvery or metallic, cigar-shaped, saucer-shaped.
You know what? I shouldn't be running the faucet while she's doing that.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah.
You're watching the Nancy boys.
That was the Halloween segment. That was a little Charles Nelson Riley.
Yeah, that was. No. Paul Lynde.
Paul
Lynde. Okay. Everyone do their best Paul Lynde, all right?
I can't.
What do you mean?
I cannot.
Why?
I have no skill.
Oh,
yes, you.
But that would be funny though. Let's have Martiqua try it.
Oh my God, no.
Okay, yeah.
No.
No.
No. I'm not doing it.
Oh, well, okay.
I don't know.
You're watching the Nancy boys.
Yeah, it was so right to try that.
I know. You're saying it was crap? You're watching the no.
I don't know.
What is? You're watching the Nancy boys. You try it again. Come on over here.
No.
Come on.
No, how he does it.
You're watching the Nancy boys. No.
It is kind of that.
Kind of. You just put that in the garbage.
Oh.
Who cares?
Yeah, I'm just, it's just on my mind. Where was that restaurant? 'Cause it was so classic. But yeah, the theater. Oh, that's why I love this city.
Yeah, I love the Lake Calhoun and the around and the, even downtown Minneapolis. It's fun.
I love
The
downtown.
cafeteria, that restaurant on top, the Sky Bar.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, my new favorite place.
Oh, it's so fun. Oh, and my buddy, Chef Jeff, left the other day. He's no longer there.
Oh, really?
So I've been wishing him well.
Oh,
And
moved up?
I don't know. He's being very tight-lipped about it with everyone. And, I told him I'm not writing about it. Don't worry, I won't write about it. The chips. I forgot about the chips. Yeah, they sent me ceramic chips, and these are all the different colors they come in.
Oh, wow.
And it's so cool.
Fun. You gonna put some water in here?
Oh, yes.
Just a...
Yes.
Let them hear and see.
Oh, that'd be such a great idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chef Jeff, or I call him Jeffrey. I always love that.
Yeah.
And, he's so cute. So easy on the eyes. Tall.
That helps.
Shaved his
In a Sky Bar.
head. Just handsome. Just such a nice demeanor and everything. Oh, just such a sweet guy.
He's gonna do well wherever he is.
Oh.
People like that.
He's going to do really well wherever he goes. Yeah, this guy is so super chef that I just can't believe he's Parasoli is losing him. But then again, maybe Parasoli's going to give him a new position. I don't know.
Yeah, it just happens.
There's so many things happening in this food where I can't keep up. And so I've decided, just focus on your own
Just
stuff.
focus on it.
goodness.
Hi, John Michael.
Hello.
Wow. Look at this.
This is a gurgle pot.
A gurgle pot.
It's a water pitcher, or you can have wine in it, or your juices.
Oh.
Stuff. It's so cool.
I'd like some water.
Excellent. And what's so special about these, and I love having these on the tables, and you pour out your juice or water or what have you.
How about that,
Isn't that
everybody?
great?
Incredible.
Yes.
And they're pretty.
Oh, and people just love constantly pouring.
Wow.
Isn't that fun?
Excellent. Get your gurgle pot, baby.
Yes.
Ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
and they come in like 20 different colors. They're ceramic. They're just beautiful. I have a couple.
Oh.
So I have white wine in one and red wine in one.
Oh, fun.
Or some ice water.
Nothing else has ever done that before.
No.
I love it.
This also gift. If you're like, oh, what am I going to give for a gift, or a wedding gift, or a bridal gift, or any kind of gift. Nobody has these.
No, I'll
They're-
get one for myself.
Yeah, they're from
Might as
France, and they're
France?
absolutely wonderful.
And beautiful.
Yes, and they come in dark blue, they come in pink, they come in white, they come in oatmeal, yellow, orange. I mean, there's so many colors.
Oh,
They're just wonderful, wonderful colors.
where could they find those?
They go to my website, gardencountycooking.com,
Okay.
go to our merchandise page, and click on the gurgle pots, and then you can actually see all the different colors too.
Wow, cool.
And if
Check
we
it
don't have
out.
them in right at this time,
Yeah.
we can order them and get them in about a week.
Oh, no time at all.
Yeah, plus our little storefront at the Chef's Abode in Lilydale.
Chef's Abode, Lilydale, Minnesota.
Yep. And it's literally like on the corner of 35E and Highway 13.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Lots of free parking. It's not like downtown.
And gurgle pots.
And gurgle pots. Yes. Nope. I love them. Absolutely love them.
Oh,
Now, we're going to do some pie. Not a whole pie, but a pie crust.
oh, pie crust. Excellent.
It's
'Cause I
something.
have no idea how to make it.
Isn't this fun?
Yes, what is that?
This is a pie server. A high heel pie server.
How crazy is that?
And this one's called Decadent Diva. We have some where the heels are red or black, zebra, leopard.
Wow.
This one actually has, it's like a snow globe.
How insane is that? I love it.
Yeah.
In the heel.
And the nice thing is, the heel pops off. It's a real strong magnet.
Oh.
So it pops off for serving, or if you want to throw this in the dishwasher.
Oh, how easy.
And it has a serrated edge. I've always heard this is a ladies size 7.
Ladies size 7.
So if you're missing a heel, you can always strap on your pie server.
Why
It's great
not?
for cakes and cheesecakes. And we carry these also on gardencountycooking.com
Okay, I'm going to check that
and at the
out.
storefront. And
Absolutely.
again, another gift that's so fun. But this is fun for yourself, but giving it for anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Men and women both love these because
Oh.
they're so fun.
Talk about
And you're
a conversation
serving,
piece.
yeah, big conversation piece. So pie can be fun. It wasn't just regular little apple pie. And I've been doing pies that we stencil the tops on. I come up with pie servers that are really fun. Yeah, there's my book, Garden County Pie. Over 100
Pie.
pie recipes,
Oh, excellent.
including my Vidalia onion.
Ooh, you're famous for that.
Yep. That was
It's
on
in
the
here.
Today Show,
Excellent.
National Public Radio, Food Network, all those, my watermelon pie.
Oh, excellent.
And I'll show you a picture
Yes.
of the designed crust for...
Oh, how pretty, everybody.
Brand new stencil.
Can I zoom in?
Oh, sure.
And I have seen you do this, actually, at the fair.
Yes.
How fun is that? My mom and dad and I both went to the stencil shop just afterwards.
Oh, yeah,
And
I
they've
know.
been doing it ever since.
I'll roll up my pie crust. And these are stencils that people use for fondant cakes and other cakes. And I'll roll it on top of my crust and then put on non-toxic dusting powders.
Okay.
Peel off the stencil and put my crust carefully on top of my pie and bake it, and then the oils from the crust adhere to the dusting powders or whatever you use on it.
Oh,
And it
okay.
makes it permanent.
Oh, excellent. Wow,
But
masterpiece.
first, we got to get there.
Yes.
And one of the hardest things, I get emails on this all the time from foodie fans and tweeter peeps and all these, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter and blah, blah, blah. You can follow me everywhere. Just go to the website, and again,
Okay.
you can click on Chef Mixer, on Facebook, on Twitter, and so many fun
How
things.
exciting.
And they all say, I can't make pie crust. for
I
my
never
life.
have.
It's
No.
so hard. So I even do pie crust clinics. And again, store-bought's not a sin.
Okay.
The other day I was on TV and I used a ready-made graham cracker crust,
Oh.
and we put in no-bake fillings because it's
Okay.
been a very hot summer in the Twin
Yes,
Cities.
it has been.
I love it. The one day someone sent me a photo of the thermometer. It said 106. And I'm like, I think I'll use the microwave tonight. Or just go out to eat. Now this recipe will make a wonderful pastry crust and flaky, 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 and I'll tell you how we get it flaky.
Okay.
And I'm going to use 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Pop that in my bowl. So this will make up to a 10-inch crust.
Okay.
And we're going to put in half a teaspoon of salt. And then half a tablespoon of sugar. And again, now I'm eyeballing it, but I've made about 250 crusts this year alone.
Okay.
And every year I do this on Food Network or on Tennessee Live or at Minnesota State Fair or somewhere in classes, even for myself.
You have made a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I use the measuring spoon. I have not made a ton.
Yeah, so use the measurements because you want that nice balance of the sweet, the sugar, and the salt. And I'm going to use my pastry blender. You can see I use this a lot because it's bending to one side.
Oh, sure.
I need to get a new pastry blender.
Okay, maybe for Christmas.
Maybe. I'm just going to take my dry ingredients and mix those in. Now, you can also do this in a food processor. A lot of people like to do that. So use their food processor.
Oh, good idea.
So I tell them to put the blade in the bowl in the freezer, get it ice cold.
Okay.
Keeping everything ice cold is so important.
Okay.
The best crusts, everything is chill, chill, chill. That's my mantra. So if you're going to do this in a food processor, what you want to do is make sure that your butter, and I use 1/4 cup of butter-flavored Crisco for the integrity of the pie crust, for handling, for rolling out, and then 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. And you want both of those to be ice cold.
Okay.
And then you also want to cut them into pieces.
Okay.
Now, I forgot to pack the butter. So, we're going to use 1/4 cup of Crisco and another 1/4 cup of Crisco.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be butter. And again, you want it ice cold, and we're going to put those in.
Okay, excellent.
Nice and cold. Yeah.
You know, one thing I wanted to bring up, because sometimes you think, well, okay, these are pies, I'm trying to lose weight, whatever, I don't want it in my house. John Michael Lerma, I think you have mini pie. What do you have on your website?
We have mini pie tins.
So you could get the flavor, but you'd have a portion that would be just fine.
You have a smaller portion.
You can use all these recipes, but in small, mini pie tins.
And with this rolled out, you could make 4 mini pies.
Yeah.
Cross for 4 mini pies.
And you can still celebrate. You have to celebrate.
Right. And the other thing
crazy.
is you only need, you could have half or cut them into thirds.
Sure, sure.
The main thing is I tell people you can have a slice of pie. You don't have to eat the whole thing.
Right.
And so, and again, you're using good ingredients that you have at home, no preservatives.
Right. You've got to be doing your body a favor. Just by having natural.
And it's good to have a treat. Denying yourself stuff all the time is just not the way to do it, and you won't be successful.
You'll never survive.
And I hate the word diet. I like the word lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's why I've always really, really appreciated Weight Watchers, because you change nothing. You buy everything at the grocery store, no special foods, no nothing.
Right.
Activity is a big thing.
It can be as simple as walking.
Yeah.
Walking the dog counts. Huh?
Right.
You know?
And that's what I love. If I want to have a piece of pie, I can do it.
Wow.
Now, I am cutting in the fat, as they call it, and using my pastry blender to do that with. And this is where I mentioned it's really handy also to use the food processor. Some people they're going to make several pies, so they're going to make a lot of crusts. And doing that by hand can sometimes be tiring.
Sure.
And so what we're going to do is cut this in until it looks like meal. And how many people know what meal looks like? I remember only from the 60s on a farm.
Okay.
So then I say little peas.
Oh, okay, little peas.
Little peas. And this is what we want it to look like at this point. And we have these little bits of fat, of chilled, cold fat. And they're about the size of little frozen peas or fresh peas.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Now, if we would use a food processor, we put everything in a bowl, our flour, our salt, our sugar, our butter, and our Crisco.
Okay.
You can use all butter if you want. You can use all Crisco if you want. But because I handle mine and I do the stenciling stuff, Crisco's good for the integrity and moving things around. All butter can start melting, get sticky right away because butter melts so quickly. Of course, the butter tastes so good. So I put in the Crisco for integrity and the butter for flavor. Now, if we did this in the food processor, we put everything in the bowl, and the ice cold butter, the ice cold Crisco, and put the top on, and then we do the pulse. We're not going to run it. We want to do pulse. So we're going to do 1 pulse, 2 pulse, 3 pulse, up to about 7. You shouldn't have to do any more than 7, and it'll look like this.
Sweet.
Then at that point, you want to take everything from your food processor bowl, dump it in another bowl.
Okay.
Because now we're going to add our water. And if you add the water into the food processor, even if you pulse it, it's going to whirl it and mix it. To get the flakiest crust, you need these bits of fat.
Okay.
You have to have them because what happens is we're going to add our water now, and then we're going to roll it out and put it into our pie dish. As it's baking, these pieces of fat are going to burst open and release steam.
Wow.
And that's where you get the layers of flaky crust.
Cool.
So that's what you need.
Cool secrets, everybody.
It's not the ingredients like the flour, if I use this type of flour, or if I put in vodka. That's the new thing, the vodka crust. It's like, okay, well, whatever. Adding different things, that's all fine and dandy. It's because you're fat.
Okay, very cool.
And again, we want to add, we'll do this with the gurgle pond. We want to add the lesser amount of water, because again, this is going to all react on how much humidity is in the air or how dry it is. And so I'm going to add a little bit. Isn't it cute? I just love that.
I do too.
Look at about a quarter cup. Love that. And I'm going to use my fingertips, like claws, and claw it in. If you use your palm, you'll warm the dough. Your fingertips won't.
Okay.
And again, we want to keep this as cold as possible. And I'm going in a circular motion and turning. And then I'm just going to bring them in and feel my dough.
Cool.
Because we don't want it to get sticky.
Okay.
And we want to keep those bits of fat.
This is so much fun.
I know. You can't have any more fun with a picture.
No.
Now the other day, I went to the farmer's market
Yeah.
and I purchased a bunch of dill, several bunches of dill.
Oh.
I love dill. And it smells so good. And I wasn't canning, I wasn't making anything with it. And I cut off the ends, and I need a decorative vase, and I saw my dribble pot, and so I put some water in it, put my dill in, spread it out, and the dill just filled the air for days.
What a great way.
Well, it was so nice because I had the air conditioning on for, we had it running for like 26 days steady. Today was like one of the first days we could open the windows.
Oh.
And it was nice to have that dill smell in there. It was fresh and green.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can see this starting to come together. That's what we want.
Okay.
But again, we want to build a satiny ball of dough. And I'm using my fingers, and I'm just going to roll this around and start bringing this together as a ball. Because I can feel it's a little tacky, but not sticky. And that's good.
Okay, good.
And again, add the lesser amount because we can never take it away. We can always add in. And the less water, the better, because all of our flavor is coming from our fat.
Okay.
And not from our water,
Not from the water,
or our
so-
flour. So we want fat. And again, fat is not a bad thing. It is an actual necessary nutrient
Your
in our
body knows
bodies.
what to do with it, absolutely.
Right, but you don't have to eat the whole stick of butter or the whole pie. And having one piece of pie can be so satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I make a lot of pies, and hundreds of them, and I probably get maybe 4 slices out of those pies per year. And so, like the other night, I was doing a book signing, and I made my watermelon pie. And I got to take
Watermelon
it home.
pie. That sounds so interesting.
Made with real
Is that
watermelon
in here?
juice. It's in there.
Okay.
Captain Tony's watermelon pie.
Look for it.
And it was so refreshing, and I got to actually have a piece of it. And I was like,
Oh,
yeah.
this is good.
There was one day I was driving and I saw at some grocery store it said fresh strawberry pie. I was like, oh god, that sounds so
Doesn't
good.
it sound wonderful?
And I'm like, my strawberry pie is pretty good. But I'm like, I don't have the time to make this. I've been baking and cooking all day and doing demonstrations and blah blah blah. And I don't have the time to do this. So So whenever I got it, and it was so good.
Was it wonderful?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So it's always nice to find good pie somewhere. But in one place that's consistent, if you live in the Twin Cities,
Yes.
is Peter's Grill, downtown Minneapolis.
Peter's Grill.
They've been
Okay.
open for 97 years. Clinton was there.
Wow.
So they have a Clinton menu.
Sweet.
It's like on, what is it? It's kind of like on 5th and 8th Avenue.
Okay.
It's only a block east of the IDF Center.
Okay.
And,
That's a good find.
oh my God, they're priced. They even have a special, soup and pie at noon.
Oh.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And Peter, the owner, he's from Greece. He always brings over pieces of pie for me or my guests or
Just
friends.
to try stuff.
And they have specials in the afternoon, like a quarter chicken dinner, the whole dinner, $4.95.
Oh my gosh.
Rib dinner, $4.95.
Downtown
Minneapolis. We're talking with Ocean Air. We're talking with Crave and all these wonderful places. 7 Steakhouse. I love them. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But your dinner is usually going, plan about a $7,500 dinner.
Oh yeah.
And especially
yeah.
a cocktail or something. And here, I leave Peter's, and it's like, that's it?
Wow.
Under $10, and that includes tip?
That's pretty cool. That's all cool.
And it hankers to the old days of the diners. The old
Isn't that
diners.
wonderful that there is still places
And all
established?
homemade food. I had an open-faced turkey sandwich with gravy and potatoes. It was like, oh my God, this is so good.
Wonderful.
Now, if this was a perfect world and we weren't on TV,
Yes.
I would be flattening this and putting it in plastic wrap and putting it in the
Okay.
fridge to rest for a little bit.
Okay.
But we're going to roll it out right away.
Okay. Sounds good.
And I'm going to show you some of my secrets for rolling out.
Ooh. Stay tuned.
Yes, I'm going to dab off my sweat
That's
first.
a secret. Dab off
That's
your
a
sweat.
big sweat. Big secret. Oh, ready?
Now, yeah, what is this?
This is a silicone liner. And I've had this one for ages. Now you'll see them everywhere. Target, Walmart, carrying them, Tupperware has them. Silicone liners. This one is from France. It's called a Silpat. They were the
Wow.
first. And I've had it, like I said, forever. And one of the reasons, you never put them in dishwashers.
Oh.
And you never wash them in like hot soapy water.
Oh.
You have to wipe them off with a rag, and I rinse them under hot water
Okay.
and let them air dry. And you'll be just fine. And never cut on them,
Okay.
anything like that. But I use these on my cookie sheets or my trays that have edges, jelly roll pans, and I bake my breads on here, my cookies, different things. That way you have this wonderful layer between the pan and your bread, what have you. And you get a nice golden instead of a darker brown or something. And you know how you like your first set of cookies kind of burnt on the bottom?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't happen with this.
Oh.
I'll roll out my cookie dough, and I'll roll it out into this rectangle shape. Take my cookie cutters,
Okay.
and then take off the excess. Leave the cookies on here. Lift this, put it on my cookie sheet, and bake.
How easy is that?
And they come right off, so it's a nonstick.
Wow.
But I thought, one year I was doing a food challenge for Food Network, and I wanted something simple, like a cutting board or something, and I thought, that's nonstick. How would that work for rolling out your peanut pie dough? I'm like, okay, so now I'm doing that.
Cool.
And I did this on Food Network, and I got so many emails. So I'm going to put a little flour, and again, because this is nonstick, you don't need that much flour. So what are we going to taste in our pie crust? The fat.
Yum.
So this is the only time you're going to see me doing my palms, but I want to press this down a bit and get some flour on it.
Sure.
And then I'm going to use my rolling pin. Now this is a French rolling pin.
Wow. Bonsoir.
Oh, well, thank you. Merci. And as you can see, it's concave. So this doesn't put edges when you're rolling like most rolling pins.
Oh, smart.
And it gives me all the control.
Smart.
This is also bamboo.
Oh.
Tightly woven bamboo. Doesn't even need flour on it at all.
Wow.
This is so cool. Someone
How
gave this to me as a
incredible.
gift, but I'm
Good
seeing this
friend.
popping up all over town.
Oh.
At all your fine cooking
Look for
stores.
it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what I'm going to do now is start in the middle and press down, press down, press down, press down, and then I'm going to start just pulling out towards me.
Okay.
And pushing out. This is where I get that control versus the other rolling pins.
I do remember all those edges.
Yeah, and you're
And
gonna.
that's common.
That's gonna happen. And again, you can watch me on Food Network, and you're gonna see scenes where I don't have a perfect round crust, and then I just keep pulling out
Okay.
and pulling out and pulling out.
Sweet.
And the nice thing, look at our cupboard space. We don't have this huge butcher block area. This is what I love about it. I can turn this.
Oh, that makes so much sense, doesn't it?
And now I've just doubled or quadrupled my counter space.
Wow.
Now, if you can focus in,
Sure.
I want to show something to your viewers. If you can see the marbleization and the bits of fat in here.
Oh.
And again, that's what's going to burst open,
Nicely.
release steam, and give you that wonderful flaky crust.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
And then
That is pretty quick too.
the nice part about this is I then can put this in my pie dish. And what I'll do is just flip this over, peel this off, lift my crust right off. Look how cool that and easy that was.
Yeah. Excellent.
Put this in my dish,
Sweet.
and then smooth out, cut off excess, and decoratively crimp.
Wow.
And then once it's in your dish, I put that right into the freezer or the refrigerator to cool again and chill.
Okay.
While I'm
Chill,
making my
chill,
filling.
Chill. Okay.
And then I fill it in right into a hot oven.
Ooh.
And I like to use the Emile Henry ceramic pie dishes. They're
Oh.
perfect. They are so
Example.
perfect.
Well, they look so unbelievably beautiful too.
And again, they're
pieces of
decorative.
artwork.
They are, and they're very decorative. I've used this many times, and it cleans up beautifully.
It looks new.
I don't just use it for pies though. I make a fudge in here.
Ooh.
I've made brownies in here.
Oh.
Done some cake stuff in here. I've even did a casserole in the microwave, leftover turkey on Twin Cities Live with biscuits and turkey.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of fun.
Yes.
And again,
Not just for pies
if you're
anymore.
looking, does this fit? Take and turn your pie dish upside down and say, okay, that's almost the right size.
Yeah.
And then you can just roll out a little further. And again, starting at the middle,
Cool. Very cool.
flip it over. Now you can spray your pie dishes or pie tins with nonstick cooking spray.
Okay.
These Emile Henry are pretty nonstick. And it's French, but if you look at the spelling, it looks like Emerald Henry.
Oh, okay.
It's just that it's French.
We'll
and
be
it's-
looking for that.
Yes. So it's Emile Henry.
Ah, wonderful. Now those
Here
are
we
they?
go. And we would just cut.
Yeah, they're just incredible.
Yeah, you would just go around and cut off your excess. And then I always like to pinch it under a little bit. And then just crimp. I do it with my
that
grandma.
is a good secret.
Yeah, I used to do it with my grandma called smiley face.
Smiley face. Oh,
Is that fun?
that's pretty dang cute.
And again, get it nice cold, fill
Oh.
it. Then beauty of these Emile Henry pie dishes, they can go right from the refrigerator into a hot oven without cracking or breaking.
Good
Yep.
point. Good
Beautiful.
point. Yes.
And then again, you can serve and it's
Now we know how to make pie crust.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Yes, and these, like I said, the crust isn't that hard.
Wow.
It's just that you could refrigerate this. You could leave it in the fridge, but the longer you do, the more it dries out.
Okay.
So
Then you start
yeah,
changing
I would love to say,
everything.
oh yeah, you can roll this up and put it in the freezer, but really you want to
Yeah,
have
it's the
this. Right. And again, if it feels satiny, you've got an excellent ball of dough. Feel
Oh.
that. See what you think.
Oh wow. That's
You want to add
incredible.
some?
That is amazing. Now, above and beyond pies, I know that you're working on a new project
Yeah.
with coring out cupcakes.
Mhm.
Tell us.
Okay.
This is a whole new thing you're coming up
Right. We sell this thing called a cupcake core.
with. Yeah.
And you put it in your cupcake, and it comes in two sizes, regular and wider, larger.
Okay.
And you take it out, and it has core at the center of your cupcake. And it leaves a nice bottom so you can fill it. So I've been making, for kids right now, the regular cupcakes with confetti, cake,
Oh.
and then I fill it with cotton candy flavored frosting.
Oh yeah.
And then on top I put a different buttercream frosting.
Oh yeah.
And they're so good. But I've also been doing savory, like the bigger cupcakes, and I'll make cornmeal cupcakes, larger, core them out and fill them with chili or sloppy joes,
Oh,
and then
yum.
put some cheese on top and melt it.
Now, if someone was interested, you could do a party like that, right?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Could you? Because that would be really fun.
Love these.
I mean, the cupcakes for the kids, and then the other stuff for the adults.
And people love
That
these.
would be just wild.
Again, good gifts
I would
for the cook,
love that.
or anybody that want. Kids love these, so it's.
And the
they love
cores
them.
are where?
They're on my website.
Okay, cool.
GardenCountyCooking.com.
Something new to play with.
Merchandise, but also we'll soon be having a storefront with the Chef's Abode in Lilydale,
Okay.
and you can come there and pick them up.
Sweet.
And start thinking stocking stuffers and all that fun stuff.
Absolutely. Get ready for more fun in your life.
I love it. I mean, I have been putting in. I did a double chocolate cupcake, and I put in Italian chocolate mousse as the filling.
Oh man.
Yeah, and
Creative
the
and
possibilities are endless.
Sweet.
I did a cornmeal cupcake with cream and melted gorgonzola blue cheese. And
Wow.
I've been coming up with all kinds of fun things.
It
and
just
so,
keeps going.
Yeah, and it's just to take your cooking to a different level and make it easy, but the main thing is to enjoy. It's all about the enjoyment. And then get your friends together to gather and break out some wine, Kool-Aid, water, and eat.
Eat.
Yes.
Eat, drink, and be merry.
Well, big
Or
time.
MargO, I don't know.
Yes,
Bye.
eat, drinking, MargO. Cool.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Cool.
Excellent.
You're watching the Nancy Boys.